Hello, Mr. Randy Duck, and welcome back for another video. So today is the release of the brand new season pass, and this tank here, the tier 8 Japanese premium heavy tank, the Orochi O-Ni, is the level 100 season pass free reward tank. So you can earn this tank for free during the season pass. So I've got 2 replays to show off the tank today. Before we do that, I'll briefly go over the tank, and then we'll just get into the videos and you can see what the tank can do and what you could potentially earn. So what is this tank? This is a Japanese heavy. It's the tier 7 tech tree tank, but it's super buffed, so it's a tier 8 version. So essentially they buffed the armour of the tank, so it has got decent armour. The armour is actually really good when you're fighting tier 8 tanks and tanks which are not firing the full premiums at you. You can bounce quite a lot of tanks, quite a lot of shells. The main problem is, which is very similar to all of the sort of heavy tanks really, is when you start firing the higher tiers and when they start firing the heat rounds at you, your armour doesn't count for much in those situations. But you've basically got 2 guns on this tank which you can use. You've got a 10cm gun with 330 alpha and the better DPM of the 2 guns. And you've then got the gun which I'm using, and I think it's the gun you really want to use if you're playing this tank, in my opinion that is, and that's the 15cm derp gun. And I'm definitely using the 15cm derp gun because if I didn't, I think Petty 360 would probably have a go at me, because derp is life. So yeah, you've got the derp gun which has 700 alpha on your standard rounds, and then on your premium HE rounds you have 90 penetration with 900 alpha, and it can be a lot of fun when you're able to pen those targets for big numbers. And it's just a bit of a meme, this tank is really. It looks really cool, it's got a cool skin, but it's just, for me, it's a little bit of a meme, it's a bit of fun, and I've actually really enjoyed playing it. It does come with 2 additional single guns which you can swap to as your secondary weapon, which have 122 penetration with 70 alpha on the premium, 81 on the standard with 70 penetration. You're probably going to need the premium rounds for them, but they're good just for firing those lightly armoured targets like ball sigs or stuff you can pen just to finish them off while you're on reload, or just going for the track shots can be quite helpful if you manage to track someone to try and keep them permo tracked. But that's a very brief overlay of the tank. I prefer just to get into the video. Now, as I should say, both these replays I'm using is using the 15cm derp gun, because I feel that's in the good nature of the the Japanese heavy lines. So let's just get on with the video then. I'll stop rambling, and then at the start of the replay you will see my equipment and crew I am using. So yeah, let's move on. Okay then, so here we are for the start of the video. First replay being on the Forge, where we are top tier and there's 2 enemy artillery in the game. So initially on this map, being in mind that we only have a top speed in this tank of 25 kilometers an hour, so we are very slow. I want to try and get to a position where I can hopefully get in a brawl with some tanks, but also I don't want to be in a position where I'm going to be in the open where I can get shot from the artillery pieces or get sort of caught out by those stealthy tank destroyers. I want to be in an area where I can try and brawl. So I'm not going to try and cross the hill on the right hand side because that would take far too long to get there. I want to go and try to play the left hand side of the map where I can hopefully meet some tanks and get into a bit of a battle. But I'm going to take the safest route possible to get there, because quite often on this map you will get some tanks go to sort of the F5 or sorry 6 area, just above that little water area, and they can shoot down onto you when you try and cross if you don't take a wide route. So I am going to take a wide route because I don't want to get caught out, don't want to lose any hit points unnecessarily before we get into our destination. As you can see, I have loaded full HE, full at 75 penetration HE rounds with 910 alpha. So if I can fight some tanks which I can pen, like some low tanks like Borsigs or lightly armoured tanks, get the rear of tanks, you can rack up some silly derp shots. But if not, because of the high caliber of the gun, the 15cm, you don't necessarily have to pen them. You're going to splash the tanks of sort of 300-400, depending on the tanks. And obviously you want to be shooting at the weakest part of the armour on the tank, because then you're going to get the most splash damage on the tanks you are unable to pen. I like this way because it's quite fun playing the derp. You're a slow tank, and like I say, in my opinion, it's just in the nature of the Japanese heavy line. So here we are for our first target, which we managed to splash there for just over 300. Trying to get behind this rock so I can side scrape and limit the damage we're going to take. I then spot a Borsig, which my eyes lit up there because I can pen that target. But we take care of the first tank destroyer first, picking up our first kill and getting into the scoreboard and getting into the battle. So I'm now going to try and push forward and hope that we can try and find that Borsig before he escapes, because we can pen that Borsig and we can rack up a lot of damage. Rolling for an average would hit him for 910. Unfortunately, I don't pen the Borsig. I wasn't quite able to hit his turret, but I do splash him for 400 hit points. And now I'm trying to use this rock to stay safe while we're on reload. We do get the pen on the Borsig in the second time of asking. Putting ourselves on to 2 kills, 1,400 damage. The artillery is looking to shoot us here in this location. Trying my best to use the, just got to try and shield myself with this rock as best I can, and just hope the artillery just hits the slight hill in front of us, which he does, right on cue there for the first shell. And I'm just going to try and take care of these tanks in front of me. The enemy team have come off the hill though on the right hand side and are now in our base, and that can be a bit of a problem with this tank because you are quite slow, so trying to get back to the base is very, very difficult. And if all the tanks try and cap out now, we could be in a little bit of a problem. But I am going to start heading there early and try in a hope that we can get back to the base. There was still damage left in front of us, but being that we are a slow tank, we're going to need to leave ourselves out a little bit of extra time if we are able to get there. But so far it doesn't actually look like the enemy team are going to side in the cap. It looks like they're just going to kill it all, which is nice. But now we've started the cap pressure on our end, I'm going to try and kill this tank destroyer around the left and see if we can help out our friendly TD and pick up this kill, because I don't want this tank coming behind us at any point. I don't really want to leave him to have that opportunity. Now he is on a one shot to us. We do pick up the third kill there, and yeah, putting us onto 3 kills, just shy of, about 1,600 damage. We haven't had a big game damage wise left, but we're left now in a 4 versus 4, but quite shortly it's going to be a 3 versus 4 because our friendly artillery piece is about to get taken out, I suspect, by the enemy team which are over there. We have 2 tanks which I'm concerned about. One is the Iron Rain left on the enemy team, and one is the G-Saw, both because they're big nasty clippers, also very, very stealthy, so it can be very difficult for us to detect those tanks. But the Iron Rain has been detected, and we're hoping that maybe we can try and come round and sneak upon him and get a shot in. But I've got to be careful because I know the last known location of the enemy team was at our base. So if I cross right now, which I'm looking to do, I get detected, and if there's that G-Saw just waiting for us, he's going to potentially clip us out before we've even been able to get in the battle. So this has left us in an awkward situation because I don't want to just push across and throw my tank away. We're now in a 2 versus 4, and we have to be careful. The one thing which is going for me at the moment is the enemy team have not put cap pressure on. So that is, with 9 minutes left on the clock, the pressure, is not on as much. So I don't have to push in to try and get to the enemy team. So I'm gonna basically just play it a bit passive, a bit safe, and wait for the enemy team to come to us, which is what's happened because I'm in a good position here. I've got this big rock which I can pull back and hide myself behind. I don't have to push out and get shot by the enemy tank destroyers, which I'm not going to spot anyway. We then do get a nice shot into that IS, finish him off. We've got this Emil which we can fight, but I am concerned with the Iron Rain, which was left on a one shot and has not been detected yet. So that Iron Rain could be coming behind us potentially. I am left in a 1 versus 3 now, and I'm starting to think that Iron Rain is coming behind us. It's just a hunch. So I'm going to turn my turret to see. And thankfully I did that just at the right time, because otherwise I would have just lost my tank to that Iron Rain. So a bit of, yeah, I just sort of sensed that was going to happen. Managed to pick up the kill on the Iron Rain, and that has left us in a much stronger position. Now I'm going to try and take care of this Emil. He's already bounced 2 shots into us. He can't actually clip us now. I should have the finish, and we pick up that kill onto the Emil there, putting us into 2,600 damage, 2,000 block, 400 assistance, and 6 kills. We are now left in a 1 versus 1 scenario. But again, I'm in the same problem, being that this is a G-Saw. It can outmaneuver me, it can outspot me, and if it catches me out, it's going to kill me very, very quickly. So I'm left in an awkward situation. I'm half expecting the G-Saw is going to come and go on the cap circle, forcing me to come towards him. But I'm just going to be patient as I can right now. Just thought, right, let's just give it a minute, see if this G-Saw is going to come behind me. You can see I'm putting myself in a position where I can turn my armour as quickly as I can do to whichever side if he decides to poke up. But basically that doesn't happen. He doesn't come for us. So I think, right, what am I going to do here? I can't go hunting this G-Saw down. He's not in the cap circle, so I don't have to push him as set so right now. But in the 1v1, I don't know if I'm going to win just by waiting here. So I'm going to go, and basically I've decided that I'm going to go to the cap circle and try and cap out the G-Saw on the basis that the G-Saw would then have to come to me and I'll be in a better position to deal with him. But I'm going to essentially fast forward a little bit to that moment, because I don't want to make you just watch a slow tank driving and listen to me rambling on. So I'm going to leave you with a little bit of music, and we'll come back to see how this replay finishes off. Okay, as you can see, we've made it to the base, and we have put ourselves in the best position we think we can be, so that whichever way the tank comes from, and he has to come to try and get the reset. If he doesn't come to get the reset, we win by default. If he does come, hopefully we can get the kill. And he does appear from the right hand side, and thankfully we get that shot in, picking up the 7th kill and getting us that win in the end. So that's it for the first replay. We finished it off with 7 kills, just shy of 3,000 damage and 2,000 blocked, picking up the first class and the Devastator there. But we have one more replay to come, and we obviously saved the best for last. So let's move on to the final replay. Okay, so this time we are on Sand River. Again, we are top tier, and there is 2 enemy light tanks in the game. So we've got the Southern Spawn, and then being in a slow heavy tank, I believe I'm going to go and try to play the Riverbed at the start, seeing if we can potentially, maybe get in a brawl with some tanks which also come to the Riverbed, or we could even get some shots onto tanks in the hill if they get spotted. So that's our initial plan. Obviously the one problem you have to deal with going in the Riverbed is that the artillery can get shots at you, but potentially where if you push too far. So you can have to be a little bit patient at times, because you don't want to push in a situation where you're going to get just shot by the artillery consistency. We do spot this enemy Lycan, and we get a nice shot into that Lycan. Unfortunately, we didn't pen him. We do put him, take away 300 of his hit points, but then that. It wasn't Lycan, it was the sort of tech tree version, and that then gets taken out by our friendly tank destroyer. And there is one enemy light tank out of the game now, which is handy. We do have some early shots. Potentially could get a shot into this Barras, which we could pen. We try and lead the shot, but it doesn't, it doesn't hit. We are in a derp gun after all, but you don't hit what you don't fire at. So you can see we're staying a little bit patient at the moment, kind of like hoping the enemy tanks in the riverbed get a bit aggressive, bring them forward, and I don't want to just push myself into a silly position at the start where I could potentially get shot at by the artillery or by the tanks which are are zooming across the left hand side of the map. I was just waiting to see if it gives us an opportunity to get a shot into them first. But now we're in a position, we know full well, you see, if these tanks here, this Barras gets all the way around the back of us, it's going to be a problem because it's going to be able to put side shots into us. So that is an issue for us. So we're just waiting to see if that tank gets taken out, because that would be very, very helpful for us. Enemy tank destroyer gets detected and we slap him for about sort of 400 by splash damage. It was a tier 6 TD. And there is a few tank destroyers which are trying to shoot us, but they're struggling to pen us from that range. And we're doing our best to try and angle our armour while we take out the enemy tank destroyer which was detected. And we pick up our first kill, putting us onto 1,000 damage and 1,500 damage blocked already. As I say, this tank, when you're fighting sort of tier 8 and lower tanks, you can bounce quite a few shots. Enemy tank destroyer gets detected. Not too sure where that shell went, but like you say, it is a derp gun after all. We swapped to the small minigun there to try and get a shot in, but it wasn't quite possible. Looking to try and get a shot into that Hellcat, but again, that minigun can be really helpful for just finishing off targets when you get the opportunity to. Like these lower armoured targets, you can quickly swap to that sort of small secondary weapon. It's also good for destroying like destructible cover, like I was doing there, because if you're running into the dirt gun, you can, and then, you obviously can't shoot through terrain, they're destructible to terrain, but you can use that secondary gun just to take care of that to allow you to get that shot in. So we still have a light tank behind us in the left hand side, which is a bit of a nuisance for us, but we can't quite deal with that tank right now. I'm going to try and push forward now. I feel it's time to try and take care of this tank destroyer. Push yourself into a position where we can get shots in. An enemy T-28 though then gets detected, and we try and get a little bit of splash damage in. We don't splash him for very much, but we do block some damage in return, blocking about just shy of 3,000 there. We're going to try and deal with this T-28 first. If he stays there, we're going to just be able to keep splashing him. Unfortunately, that shell again derped and didn't actually hit our target. We then have this one-shot medium to our right-hand side, which keeps poking up on the hill. So if we get an opportunity, we are going to try and put a shot in and just take out this tank here, which we do, confirming our second kill of the game. We're now going to try and take care. I want to try and take care of this T-28, ideally, and then we can take care of this Chinese tank destroyer. We'll get rid of this T-28, and it's just going to make it a little bit easier for us. We get a splash in there, putting him onto a one-shot. We should be able to, if he stays there, how he is, we're going to be able to finish him off. But we can also finish off this Chinese tank destroyer now. And we're going to try and push forward and just splash him and take care of him. We do have a light tank behind us shooting us, but we're just going to ignore him for the time being because we can't really turn our attention to him yet. But he drives straight past us, and that makes it a lot easier. We swapped to the small gun there just to get a couple of shots in, just to boost your DPM a little bit. We knew we could pen him when we was on reload on the main gun. That's just a perfect example where it can come in a little bit handy to pick up that tiny bit extra damage just to boost your damage somewhat. Going to try and finish off this T-28 now, a tank destroyer, which you should easily be able to finish him off. It's only on 33 hit points. That does confirm our fourth kill of the game, put us on to just shy of 2,000 damage. And we're in an 8 versus 5 scenario. The majority of the enemy tanks, you can see we've got most of the map control here. We've got a tank starting to go into the cap circle, and the rest of our tanks are still in our base. But there's very few places that the enemy tanks are probably going to be now. I suspect they're all in front of us on this hill. But getting to the hill is a little bit of a problem because there's a Chrysler K full health to our left, and we can't just push out into the open. So I'm just sitting in a position where I've got a lot of the rubble houses sort of preventing shots to coming into us, and just waiting to try and take out this enemy Scorpion here, which we hope if he pokes again, we might be able to land a derp shell in and potentially finish him off. With the cap circle as it is, we do try and get a derp shot there into that tank destroyer, but it misses. But with us capping, that is going to force the enemy team to try and go for the reset. So they may end up ignoring me, and then I might be able to try and move in, because I want to get some more out of this game. I've got, 2,000 damage and 4 kills, but there's more damage to be had, there's more kills to be had. I suspect the enemy tanks are going to deal with our tank in the cap circle, and we're just going to use it as a window of opportunity to get a bit closer. My main concern is this Chrysler K to my left, because as I approach here, he could potentially position himself in a way to get shots into us. Now that is a concern, but I'm kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place, because I need to get closer to the enemy team to start dealing the damage. But I'm hoping the enemy tanks in our base is just keeping this Chrysler K distracted for long enough for us to get over and kill these other tank destroyers, and then we can pay our attention to that Chrysler K who's full health and would like to try and get some shots in. So as that Chrysler K is not paying any attention to us, that is just allowing us to come in and kill these tank destroyers. We pick up a 5th kill of the game, putting this onto 2,000, just over 2,000 damage. We should be able to finish off this Hellcat as well here, which we do, and then that quickly puts us onto 7 kills or 6 kills. Yeah, 6 kills it puts us onto. We've now got this Chrysler K and the enemy light tank, which we are never going to be able to spot. We'll just have to wait for him to come in for us, really, because we've just got no chance of doing that. So we're going to try and deal with this Chrysler K now, who is still full health. And I'm surprised he didn't put any shots into us, but we may even get lucky and have an opportunity to shoot the rear of this Chrysler K, which would be a dream, because we can probably pen it with our 75 penetration if we can hit the flush the rear of the tank. And that would be good news for us, because we would get a lot of damage in one shot, take away a lot of his hit points. So here is the Chrysler K. He has sort of turned towards us, but he's also getting shot at by the enemy, our friendly artillery piece, and he's getting shot at by the tank destroyers. So he's trying to duck down and get out of that situation. Probably trying to escape us, but if we're lucky, we might just catch up and get at that shot in, which is what I'm hoping for right now, because I want to get that pen. I want to get a bit more damage out of this game. We're on 2,400 damage, but this Chrysler K still has the majority of the hit points which are left. So we may get that window which we was looking for. We do, and we pen him for over 900 damage, putting us onto 3,000. We swap to the small minigun, and we get another 2 shots penning the rear of the tank. We actually get 3 shots of the secondary weapon therein. He now turns to his side armour. Our main gun's ready. We're going to derp him and finish him off, picking up the 7th kill, putting us onto 3,600 damage, with an opportunity to get the Radleys and pick up the 8th kill on that enemy light tank which is left. Now I think it's the AMX tier 6 premium light tank, which is incredibly stealthy and has a very good little gun, but it doesn't have a turret. Like I say, we are never going to spot, if that light tank doesn't want us to find it right now, we will never find it, because it's too stealthy, too fast, too small. We're just never going to get to the light tank. So our best option is to come for the base, because ultimately if the light tank wants to win the game, he is going to have to stop this base and get the reset. So I suspect that's where they will probably be aiming to go to, because I would say otherwise they lose the game by default. So they have to get the reset in order to win, if that's what they want to do, and I suspect they probably do. So we're going to try and make our way. The light tank is coming in for the reset, and he's going to try and get behind this friendly tank destroyer, because if he gets behind it, maybe he can take him out. I'm just hoping we can get there and land one big derp shell into this light tank. We get our opportunity, but we just missed a shot. We needed to fire a little bit further in front, and we just may have hit it, which is a shame, because that would have been a beautiful way to pick up the Radley's medal. The friendly artillery, though, hits the light tank and takes away pretty much all of his hit points, leaving him on the sliving of health. The light tank does manage to kill the tier 8 Yahtzee, so it does do well there. We're hoping we get this opportunity though. We really want to pick up this 8th kill, this 8, and to pick up that Red Leaves model. We've got an opportunity to do it, and we thankfully this time lead our shell, and we pick up that 8th kill with a nice way to finish this replay. So let's just see how we got on. We got 8 kills, just shy of 4,000 damage. The tier 6 light tank had a really good game as well. 1,500 assistance, 3,700 blocked, and we do pick up the ace tank up this time. So that is it for the video. So thank you so much for watching. As I say, you can pick this up for the level 100 season pass reward. But as always, happy tanking.
Enemy in sight. Hadouken!